everybody, welcome back to the Fantasy Football Post. I'm Sid Rosenberg for OpenSports.com and the National Football Post. Let's help you get your lineup set for week number 10 of the NFL season. Here he is, my main man, Joe Fortenbaugh, the great, the best fantasy expert in the business at NFPost.com. Good morning, Joe.
What's up, Sid? How's it going today?
It's going well, thank you. Let's get right to it here. Start 'em, sit 'em, right out of the blocks. Am I seeing this right? Are you telling us to start Panthers wide receiver Steve Smith and bench Falcons wide receiver Roddy White when it comes to the Panthers-Falcons matchup this weekend?
You've got that right. I know the White owners out there aren't going to like to hear this, and they're going to start him anyway, and that's fine. But the advice is that you just taper your expectations because this is a tough matchup for him this week. Carolina ranks 6th in the league against the pass, giving up less than 190 yards a game through the air. They've got two very good cornerbacks in Richard Marshall and Chris Gamble. So the matchup right there is going to be difficult. In addition, quarterback Matt Ryan has struggled as of late, less than 200 yards passing in 4 of his last 6 games. And in his last 2 games, just 2 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions. On the other side of the ball, you've got wide receiver Steve Smith, who despite being a disappointment this year, is still 9th in the NFL in targets with 72. He's seen 26 targets coming his way over the last 3 games, and Atlanta ranks in the bottom 10 in the league in pass defense, giving up over 240 yards a game through the air. Very good matchup for Steve Smith this week. Rough matchup for Roddy White.
All right, Joe, 2 other big names also relegated to the sideline. Bears running back Matt Forte tonight against the Niners, and Lions running back Kevin Smith in Minnesota this Sunday.
Both running backs have been a big disappointment this season. Forte's struggles will continue tonight against the San Francisco defense that ranks 4th in the league against the run, giving up just over 93 yards a game. Forte has only had 1 100-yard rushing game this year and just 3 rushing touchdowns on the ground and is averaging just 3.6 yards per carry. So you haven't been getting too much production out of him. Look for that trend to continue tonight. Same thing with Kevin Smith this weekend. Very tough matchup against the league's 6th-ranked rush defense in the Minnesota Vikings. The game's on the road. Crowd noise is really going to affect the offense. Smith, much like Forte, only 1 100-yard rushing game this year, only 3 rushing touchdowns, averaging just 3.3 yards per carry. Both running backs are a poor start this weekend.
All right, Joe, running out the starting list, the Dolphins defense going up against Tampa Bay, and, of course, Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco versus a horrible Browns defense. I'm curious about what's going to happen here with Corral Buckhalter. Based on what I saw Monday night against the Steelers, Buckhalter, what's going on with him with Denver?
Flacco's got a great matchup against Cleveland on Monday night. You want to get him in the lineup. He's been rough as of lately, but this is a defense that gives up over 400 yards total on average each week. Get Flacco in your lineup. In addition, Corral Buckhalter starting to assume more of the role in Denver right now. 4 more carries than Noshan Moreno on Monday night against Pittsburgh. In addition, he's averaging 5.5 yards per carry, to Moreno's 3.7. He's made more happen with fewer touches this season in both the running and passing game. Look for Buckhalter to have a nice day against a Washington defense that ranks 25th against the run, giving up more than 120 yards a game on the ground. So that's what you've got. And in addition to Miami Dolphins, their numbers are skewed. Total defense, they rank in the middle of the pack. But keep in mind, 4 games against San Diego, Indianapolis, New England, and New Orleans. 4 of the best offenses in the league. They're going against a rookie quarterback. They've got him at home. Freeman only completed 45% of his passes last week. Look for the Miami defense to be very aggressive and put up some solid fantasy numbers.
Agreed. Now, time to sort out some potential roster dilemmas here, Joe. It's fantasy pick'em time. Joe, I'm going to give you 2 players. You tell me who will have the better fantasy day. 3 out of 5 again last week. Let's see if we can do even better this time around. Number 1, Rams running back Steven Jackson versus the Saints, with Dolphin running back Ronnie Brown versus Tampa Bay.
New Orleans has been very good against the run this year. The thing with St. Louis, they're coming off the bye, and in addition, Steven Jackson tends to get a lot of touches to produce numbers. However, I'm still going to lean with Ronnie Brown. He's a very big part of that offense. The Wildcat runs through him. I see him finding more success against Tampa. Let's go with Ronnie Brown.
2 former running backs here with the Bears, Thomas Jones of the Jets versus the Jaguars, Joe, or Cedric Benson of the Bengals, the new Cedric Benson, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Benson's been outstanding this year, but I'm going to go the other way on this and take Thomas Jones. He's got a much more favorable matchup against the Jacksonville defense. The offense runs through him. New York has the highest run-to-pass ratio in the league. They love running the football. Jones is a featured guy. Benson's got the number 1 rush defense in the league. On the road at Pittsburgh, we'll go with Thomas Jones.
Ravens wide receiver Derek Mason, Joe, versus the Browns, or Viking wideout Sidney Rice versus the Lions.
Going to take Sidney Rice this week. Both receivers have good matchups, but I got a feeling Sidney Rice, Brett Favre, that combination against Detroit, just a little bit better and a little bit more explosive than Mason and Flacco against Cleveland. Let's go with Sidney Rice.
Denver quarterback Kyle Orton versus the Redskins, Joe, or Falcon quarterback Matt Ryan versus Carolina?
As bad as Washington's been against the run this year, they've actually been very impressive against the pass. In addition, Denver's coming off short rest, heading to the East Coast to take on the Redskins. I know I said earlier Ryan struggled lately, but I still like him by a nose over Kyle Orton this weekend.
And the main event, the marquee game of the weekend, Tom Brady of the Pats up against Peyton Manning of the Colts on Sunday night.
If you can't get up for this game, you are not a football fan. This is the best game on the schedule every single year. The NFL does it. Great rivalry between two of the league's best quarterbacks of all time. I'm going with Tom Brady. I know he's on the road, but I like Moss and Welker versus a defense that's without Marlon Jackson and Bob Sanders. I know the Texans struggled a little bit last week. Look for New England to exploit those weaknesses in the secondary. I'm going with Tom Brady.
I agree. I like Brady, and I like the Patriots to win the game outright. As always, Joe, terrific job. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next Tuesday for more fantasy coverage right here on the Fantasy Football Post. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football.
Thanks, Sid. You too.
You too, pal. Remember, you can also follow Joe on Twitter at Joe Fortenbaugh. That's B-A-U-G-H. For more great fantasy updates. And don't forget, his writing is terrific each and every day at nfpost.com. For my main man, Joe Fortenbaugh, I'm Sid Rosenberg. Good luck in your fantasy games. And as always, enjoy the football.